a heartbeat, then another, and then nothing. For a brief moment, the world disappears into a total, heavy silence. Most of us view this moment as an instantaneous event, a simple transition from on to off, like a light switch being flipped. Biological evidence suggests otherwise. Death is a sequence of events. It is a process that unfolds in stages, rather than a single, sudden point in time. This raises a question about the seconds immediately following that final pulse. What is happening within the body and the mind when the heart has already stopped? By tracking this biological timeline, we can see the specific, measurable steps the body takes as it moves from life to the end. The process begins when the heart stops pumping. Blood flow ceases, and oxygen no longer reaches the brain. Since brain cells require a constant supply of oxygen to function, you would expect all neurological activity to vanish the moment the circulation fails. This graph shows a different reality. As the blue line representing oxygen levels drops to zero, the yellow line, the brain's electrical activity, surges upward. Even without blood flow, the brain becomes hyperactive. These electrical signals continue firing across the cortex. Fragments of consciousness, sensations, and memories linger for a short time after the heart has gone silent. Some scientists believe this is the brain's final attempt to maintain survival in an environment that has become suddenly and completely hostile. At the point of clinical death, the brain enters a state of high-intensity work. We can compare this biological data to the reports of thousands of people who were clinically dead and then resuscitated. These survivors often describe a bright light, a deep peace, and the sensation of floating above their own bodies while doctors worked on them. This creates a tension between the physical data and the human experience. Patients report being hyper-aware and forming new memories during a window of time where their brain monitors show almost no sustained activity. Biology offers an explanation for this calm. As oxygen levels fall, the brain may flood the system with endorphins and the compound DMT, creating a final, vivid illusion to protect the individual from the trauma of the end. Spiritual perspectives view this differently, suggesting the experience isn't a chemical trick, but evidence of a soul or consciousness that exists independently of the brain's neural network. Because we cannot definitively prove whether this experience is a chemical byproduct or a transition to another state, the boundary of consciousness remains an open question. While the mind's fate is debated, the body's path is certain. Once the heart and brain have finished their cycle, the breakdown of cells and the cessation of organ function begin. This is the natural cycle of life, returning its components to the earth. From a biological standpoint, it is a necessary part of the ecosystem. Beyond the physical, there is the question of time. If consciousness ends with the brain, there is no perception of waiting and no awareness of the passage of years. Time effectively ceases to exist. If, however, some form of awareness continues, as spiritual traditions suggest, time could feel endless or take on a form we cannot currently measure. Every explanation we have, scientific or religious, is still incomplete. No one has returned with a definitive map of what lies on the other side of that final surge of activity. It is the fact that death is a finite end that gives our time its weight. Because we know the process has a conclusion, the way we choose to live and love becomes significant. The mystery of the end is what defines the value of the life that precedes it.